I know Planet of the Apes doesn't get the best reception, and certainly when you compare it to the original Planet of the Apes film, yeah, maybe in some ways it's not as good, but I absolutely adored this film. Obviously, one could argue that since I'm in love with Tim Burton and also Helena Bonham Carter, then there were two very strong aspects there that I thoroughly enjoyed. But I also should point out that I hadn't seen the original when watching this. I have, of course, since then seen it, and I do think there are aspects of the first that work better. But the 2001 version is still really brilliant. Plus, it's worth pointing out that if we didn't have this one, we may not have basically every other film that Tim Burton did with HBC. The description from IMDb for this one, if you're not familiar with the narrative, is as follows. In 2029, which is scarily close now, an Air Force astronaut crash lands on a mysterious planet where evolved talking apes dominate a race of primitive humans. Very similar to the narrative of the first film. And we have an absolutely brilliant cast. Mark Wahlberg, Tim Roth, HBC, Helena Bonham Carter, of course, plays an ape. She plays Ari, and I do think the makeup and special effects here are absolutely incredible. And to be honest, they were incredible in the original based on the time frame, but these ones are just, they're brilliant. And obviously, it's a Tim Burton film. The costume design was by Colleen Atwood, and I think the costume design is amazing. And visually, this film is a treat. We have some great set designs. Everything just seems to work on screen. You know, beautiful mise-en-scène, everything's fabulous. As for the narrative, I think it develops very well. I like the way the humans interact with the apes. I like the portrayal of the apes. For me, it's what I would have wanted for them. Again, not radically different to the original. It's obviously very hard to not compare this to the original, but I guess I am blessed with the fact that I hadn't seen the original, so I could watch this one completely fresh. And I think it's mighty. It's an epic in the loosest sense. Visually, it's very powerful. The narrative is very emotive. It's very thought-provoking. Ultimately, it made me ask a lot of questions of society and of humans and humanity, and also of the future of talking apes. I think, you know, the fact that it was nominated for quite a lot of accolades, it didn't win too many. It won 11, which is obviously a brilliant achievement, but it was nominated for 32 other awards, including 2 BAFTAs, nominated for Best Costume and Best Makeup and Hair. Definitely feel like it should have won. Just out of curiosity, the Best Costume for that year went to Gosford Park, and the Best Makeup and Hair went to Lord of the Rings, which, you know, tough competition. It was up against Philosopher's Stone in that category as well. So it was a pretty big year for cinema. I like this film. If you've seen the original and you've heard the negative reviews about this, still give it a go, assuming you like the original, because it does have a different feel to it. I love the blue wash that seems to be over it. The colour palettes are just so beautiful. It's certainly got a different feel to the original version. And it's not scene for scene, like for like. It's a different kind of experience. I think the acting across the board is very good. Obviously, the makeup and hair, incredible. And the fact that it's not just, you know, they could have used a lot of CGI on this, but they didn't. And to be honest, I kind of find that creepy. You know, if you look at HBC in this, it's just really quite eerie. But it's brilliant, fantastic performances. You know, the actors spent hours and hours inside these roasting hot ape suits, and their performances do not reflect the agony they were obviously feeling. Absolutely fantastic. Really love it. I'm not saying it's the best film I've ever seen, and I'm not saying it's definitely better than the original. Again, biased, I get that. But I do think it's a little bit different. You may prefer the original. You may actually really like this one. I'd love to know which one you prefer. Personally, though, I think it doesn't deserve as much negativity that it receives. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, for me, will always hold a special place in my heart.